who does some fantastic work just freelancing here for the show. He'll send me little things he puts together. And he put together a little Black Sabbath tribute from the first segment on the show today. If I can't talk, Bill...
You can't work.
Now, this means nothing to anybody who doesn't know the song Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath. But if you do know, you know the coughing at the front of Sweet Leaf.
Yes.
Thank you, Jake. Very funny. Poundcake podcast up there. It's called Deshaun Watson is Coming to Cleveland. That's the kind of title I like. It grabs you. It tells you what it's about. And that's what it's about.
Literally. And as I was talking, because we had this discussion, my roommate and I, before I even just talked about doing a podcast about it, and as I'm talking about it, he walks in and I'm like, sit your ass down. We need to have a chat. And he contributes to it as well because he's in the camp of, well, if you're a Browns fan, you should be a Browns fan. This isn't going to stop anything. This doesn't change anything. It's business. And that's what he...
Yeah, listen, you can make a case for that, but in Bill's defense, what I would also say is there are people with an unhealthy attachment to sports. But whatever your level of attachment, it is an emotional attachment. And part of an emotional attachment can also be, I'm uncomfortable being emotionally invested in a team that's going in this direction.
And that's how I feel.
Well, I feel like that with any corporation. I literally said...
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Well,
you want to taste the hate over at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But what I said was... Browns fans are being treated just like gays are treated on July 1st. When all the corporations have all the little rainbow...
What's July 1st?
June
the
1st?
end of Pride.
The end of Pride.
And they take it all down.
I see.
For all of
You
June.
had your months.
Yep, for all of June is rainbow this and glitter that and live your truth, live your pride, be real. And then July 1st comes is like, take that crap down. Like,
But I'm also curious.
It's pandering.
But I'm also curious. It has to be because of social media that at some point people expected companies to take a stance on something, right? Yep. I mean, I know legally, if the Supreme Court wants to determine that companies can be treated as people, then those people can have opinions. But somewhere along the line, people expected companies to, it's got to be because of social media. Because for that, nobody was like, I can't believe ExxonMobil doesn't have a rainbow flag. It's like, these are companies. They're not, they have one rule, make money.
Right. And
one rule.
And when they have pride parades and gatherings, all that stuff, they got to get people in those booths. And so corporations are like, yeah, we want to be a part of that.
but they don't care about us. And you should know that.
I didn't say they do.
But is pandering predicated on you not knowing you're being pandered to?
No.
So is it pandering if you know you're being pandered to?
Pandering is predicated. When I think of pandering, I think of it in a negative connotation. Someone is altering their beliefs or stances to attract a wider audience. They may not fully believe what they are saying.
Well, tell people what they want. Tell a group of people what they want to hear.
Yeah, but it's not what they believe.
Well, I don't know what companies believe other than keep it in the black. That's their one and only rule.
My understanding of pandering is when you compromise morals and your own beliefs just to make a dollar or to draw in an audience. That's what I think of when I think of pandering.
But people get...
I think you can
Something
pander
is
and still believe it.
sacrificed.
People get really...
That's not pandering, though. If you believe in it, then you're just speaking about what you believe in. That's not pandering.
We're talking about companies. Companies are not a person.
No, but their CEO is.
But he's not the company.
But
like
he
Disney got into a
is.
lot of trouble. No, they're the person that the board has selected to get paid the most and to be the public face of that company.
And have the most say-so and the most veto power.
The
and whatever
board
else.
has that power, not the CEO. When Bob Iger, who was the head of Disney forever, stepped down, I think he knew what he was doing when he put this Chapek guy in there, whoever the guy is now. And that guy really whiffed the Don't Say Gay bill down there in Florida. Because Disney is not only a huge employer in Florida, but also, irrespective of how they whiffed this in a PR way, Disney is a very, very gay-friendly company, a very LGBTQ-friendly company. And then it was found out that they were, I don't know if it was found out, this stuff's all public record, that they were donating to people who were behind what they're calling the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, and people went crazy and they made a mess of it PR-wise. But that doesn't negate the fact that whatever you think is the most virtuous company, whatever you believe, whatever end of the political spectrum you're on, whatever companies you like, you're going to find out that they're donating to a lot of different people whose values are not going to align with yours.
Well,
it's just how it works.
And it's what you said. At the end of the day, companies make money. That's it.
That's their one and only job.
All the Browns want to do is make money and win games.
Increase revenue for your shareholders. That is their one and only mission.
So that's why when people ask about this and they're, as a woman, what do you believe? It's just like, I understand. I get it. I understand why the Browns made this decision. As a business, this guy's going to win you games and take you further. I get that. If that's all you care about, sure. It doesn't mean I like it. It doesn't mean I want to.
It just ruins.
Be there.
I think it ruins like the morale of it, because fans are going to feel a ways about going. They're going to want to go because they want to support the Browns.
Yeah,
they
that's
want to
exactly
support
how I feel.
the team.
But isn't it also on? I mean, who are the people who think that, like, these companies, they're like, oh my gosh, not my Cleveland Browns. Like, who are you? Like, what did you think they were doing?
That's exactly how I feel. Where I'm like, I get it. That sucks. I wish this didn't happen, because now I'm put in a weird situation where I love football. I've been a football fan my whole life, and the team that I understand is just making a business decision now no longer aligns with what I feel morally. So I can't say that I can't be as direct as Bill. I don't know how I feel right now. And that sucks.
That's the beauty of any company in this country, is you can, and it might not make a big dent, but you can, for yourself, remove your support.
You can.
You can stop buying Nike products. Or trouble is, so many companies are owned by conglomerates now.
Silly.
But at the same time, I guess my thing is that I am not willing to take a hard stance, because I don't want to be hypocritical in that other things I support, I know don't do the right things morally.
I don't think it's hypocritical. The bottom line is, anyone who is like, I only support virtuous companies, man, you're going to be living on the side of a hill in a cardboard box house you made yourself. So it's not hypocritical. It's just, again, people's connections to sports teams are emotional, more so emotional. You don't get emotional about what kind of appliances you buy for your house. But sports...
Some people do.
Sports is the full spectrum of the human condition, right?
I wanted a specific kind of picture frame for the house. And I went to 2 like smaller boutiques that I like to go to, like locally owned, all that kind of stuff. Couldn't find what I wanted. And then I went to Marshall's and Target before I was like, screw it, I'm just going to order it off Amazon. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, Bezos doesn't treat his people right, and this and that and the other. And I'm like, well, at what point? I've tried 4 other outlets. At what point am I no longer wrong for submit? You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I actually prefer, people give companies like Hobby Lobby a hard time, because they're very forward in their belief that, like, we are not going to let our female employees get birth control on or whatever, right? You might not agree with them.
1 tampon per period.
That's enough, right?
And if you bleed more than that, that's your fault.
Yeah.
But,
That's the devil's blood after that.
Right. I don't agree with anything they stand for, but I'm not going to shop there.
Yeah.
There are companies that are a lot more amorphous than that. You kind of don't know, and you can go online and you can find out, you can see what every company has donated to everybody.
Yeah.
But that will bum you out too, because companies, spread their money all over the place.
All over the place, right. And so to kind of go back to the hypocrite thing, you can look at that thing and try and live a certain way. But when the face of the franchise becomes someone that is as divisive as Deshaun Watson, that's when I have a hard time.
I understand.
And I know you do, and I know you're very split over this too. And it's just one of those things where I can't look at that guy's face and want to cheer in any way.
Now, but people will say, look, a grand jury looked at all the Deshaun Watson stuff and
said no.
Did not indict him for anything.
Right. But that is a situation where we need to kind of take a look
a bunch of money and influence
at a bigger picture of how often people are sexually assaulted and how often there's a crime that is convicted.
Okay,
but that's a whole other conversation.
But it is a conversation that stems from this.
I know, but I'm just saying that if you're the NFL or the Haslams or whatever, you are not a court of law.
I understand that.
You go look. You know, if
but
you have a Ray Carruth or a Ray Rice or stuff like that, where you're like, or Michael Vick, here's a guy who was killing dogs. Here's a guy had a woman in his trunk. You know, those are things where they go, we gotta let you go. But if they go, here's a guy, we are trying to win football games, and here's a guy
that can do that.
Yeah.
That's as black and white as it is.
The former president.
We need a quarterback. He is a good quarterback.
The former president had 24 credible allegations of sexual assault against him. People didn't care.
Here's my thing.
They're like, he's going to keep my taxes low.
But there are these. I saw a video yesterday, a woman giving a speech about. She's at a college, and she's like, hey, everybody in here that knows someone that has been sexually assaulted, please stand up. Everybody in the room stands up, and she kind of keeps taking away different things like, okay, did the person have any punishment at all? And it gets down to where they prosecuted for a crime in a room out of like 300 people, one person was still standing.
Right.
And so that's the thing that I think about. Yes, he didn't go to trial, but that's just because the way that these allegations are brought into the criminal justice system we don't know really how to prosecute it yet.
Well, but we also there's a lot of uncertainty here.
Yeah.
And at what point do you say...
We can't be sure that... Okay, so you say 22 women. Yeah, I think that's the number it's floating around.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. 10 went to filed like criminal charges.
Right.
10.
But you could also, given the law of averages, make a case that not all of them are telling the truth.
That's what I said. And Bill and Cody didn't like that when I said that in the group text.
I didn't say that.
But you can
Both
say
of you
that.
did.
No, I didn't say that they weren't telling the truth. I said the county or whatever, the prosecuting area is not in the business of losing cases. So if there's not any proof...
Well, let me rewind because the listeners aren't in the group text. I sent the full article that was not biased, that was just like, hey, here's what we know.
Yeah.
And I said 22 women, 10 of them pressed charges. So what are the chances that of the 12 who didn't, some of them are piling on? We can't, and then this is
where
there
is that chance.
And I'm not saying that all 12 of them are lying. I think 22 is an outrageous number for everyone to be lying. I would never say that. Absolutely not. But what I am saying is that...
Sex defender.
I knew it was going to come.
No, but if even one of them is telling the truth, that's a big problem.
100%.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But
Right.
the thing that sucks about this situation
You can't prove
is
it.
that there's no way to prove it. So at what point do you draw the line and say, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I'm not comfortable with? He wasn't proven guilty on anything. I don't know anything about these women. I don't know if they're telling the truth. There's no way to prove if they are or not. There's no way to prove if he is.
Right. And what I'm saying is football's not important enough to me to just say, well, because there's no proof, I'm not going to take this serious and assume that out of 22 that I'm not going to assume 22 people are lying.
I never said that.
I know. So but I'm saying there are people that are saying that, and I'm saying at least one of them's probably telling the truth.
Yeah.
And so if one of them's telling the truth, then I'm not
Okay,
going to root
now
for this guy,
from
and I'm
that-
not going to cheer for the Browns.
From that, and this is where my issue lies, why I can't say that, is because then you're not going to be able to enjoy anything. If you take that hard of a stance, it's going to be movies with skeezy producers and companies that have
I
dudes at
understand
the
that.
top who have harassed everybody. And I think that if you're that willing to take such a strong stance and say, I will never watch another Browns game as long as this guy's a part of it, then you should carry that through into everything else that you do. Why? Okay, if you're not going to support the Browns, then you can't support this company,
but
that
why does it
company,
have to
or
be
whatever.
that?
Because why not? If you're going to take such a hard stance here, why would you not take that hard of a stance in another situation, whether it's against a corporation or a movie producer or anything like that?
Well, I mean, what movie produce? If there are allegations that come out, there are things that I will definitely stop supporting.
I don't have any examples, but
Hey, listen, I will
enough.
go out on a limb here. If Harvey Weinstein ever makes another movie, I won't see it.
Look at you.
I will not see it.
What a great guy.
Yep.
What
I
about the
will
things
not
he
watch it
already
at all.
made?
Huh?
Will you rewatch the things he's already made?
Oh, yeah, sure. You mean like Pulp Fiction? The guy made 1 billion movies.
Yeah.
I mean, his fingerprints were on
But
a
that's
lot
my
of movies.
point.
Yeah.
So if you're going to take such a hard stance against this, then you should never watch another Harvey Weinstein movie, ever. Don't even talk about how good it is.
I don't think it's quite the
How?
same.
How?
We're
Because
talking.
you don't want it to be the
No,
same.
I
No,
mean,
we're
I'm trying
talking
to-
about levels of degree here too. You do have to include degree in this. to Bill's point, if you're making this guy the face of the team in Cleveland, Ohio, right? There's a lot of different perspectives that people have on this. If you're a victim of sexual assault, you are undecidedly like, I can't believe this is happening right now, right? And that's one perspective. If you're not going to find the owner of any professional sports team who would choose doing the right thing over doing the revenue increasing thing.
Yes.
That's not true, though.
It's not even. You name me one owner who goes, "Nah, I'm not."
There are owners in the league that said, with the current situation with Deshaun Watson, we are not going
Was
to.
it that, or they didn't have $230 million?
They got a better deal.
They didn't want to put up $200 million, and then they can say, "Look at how virtuous."
No, because this is before all of that.
Aren't they getting a ton of stuff for him?
Jim Mora from the Giants, before the Browns made the trade, said we are not interested in bringing Deshaun Watson here. And but I would because of the allegations against him.
Okay.
And they are a team that needs a quarterback.
I don't know his motivations, but I'd be willing to bet he's like, look, this is New York. We can stand to not have bad PR. Cleveland is trying to make something happen. This is New York. We'll get somebody who wants to come here and play. We don't need to do that. Cleveland, they clearly think they need to do that.
I would like it explained how it's different than the Harvey Weinstein thing.
He's not in the movie.
But he was the one who made it, produced it, put the money up for it. It would not have happened without him.
I understand that, but I can't. And also, that's something that happened. I can't unsee those movies. I can't
You could never see him again. You could never talk about him again. You could.
I mean, okay.
I don't know. I just I am not.
I think
happy
you're looking
about
for
it.
a reason to also want to still support the Browns.
I do want to still support the Browns. That's not. I mean, that's not a secret. I am so.
But with this, the Browns are separate. Well, they used to be, but the way the Haslams, because I'm mad at Jimmy Haslam over this too, because they did not do the due diligence they said they did.
How do you know?
Because they said they talked to Deshaun Watson. They didn't talk to any of the women that are accusing him. And that's not...
Well, they're not going to hire them. They only need to talk to him.
But that's who you need to know.
Are you
to
remorseful?
Know both sides.
Are you blah, blah? And so then they can go, we had a good conversation with him, and he knows what the organization needs.
My point is that I am not ready to say something as set in stone as you are.
Well, I'm ready because I think it's disgusting.
It is. I'm not arguing that fact
and neither
at
one
all.
of you are wrong, by the way.
I'm not arguing that fact at all.
And I don't need you to either. So I don't know why we're arguing.
We're not arguing. I'm just giving a different point of view. That's all.
If you want to blackball Harvey Weinstein, here are the movies. I'm not going to read them all. Here are some of the movies you can never watch again. All right. You can never watch Shakespeare in Love, Oscar winner.
Never going to watch it anyway.
It was a terrible movie, but nevertheless,
I can't believe it won the Oscar.
You can never watch it again.
Okay. You
can never watch Gangs of New York. Great movie.
That's a great movie, but I've seen it enough times. I'm good on it.
You can never watch Tulip Fever.
Aw, man.
All right. Well,
you can never watch. You can never watch Reservoir Dogs. You know, before the Weinstein Company, it was Miramax.
Yeah.
And those guys were Pulp Fiction. Yeah. And I mean, early 90s were like just a gold mine for them. The Night We Never Met. That is an unsung gem. Annabella Sciorra, who her career was ruined
well, it's
by
the night
Harvey
I'm never going to
Weinstein.
see because I can't watch it now.
Matthew Broderick, right? You can never watch that. You can never watch
60, by the way.
Who?
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. His waist or his inseam?
His age.
Inseam? He's got a 5-foot inseam?
Sorry, his
gotten
waist.
So much taller.
Yeah.
He's really, yeah.
You can never watch True Romance again.
That's fine.
You can never watch Pulp Fiction. You can never watch Smoke, great underrated Harvey Keitel film. You can never watch Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Great song, not a good movie. You can never.
I'll be all right with all these because I've seen them.
You can never watch Beautiful Girls.
That's fine.
Made you feel weird about a young Natalie Portman. You can never watch Scream.
I didn't know that was.
That was Miramax. Mm-hmm. You can never watch The English Patient again.
All right, now we have to draw.
See?
No, I'm with Elaine
you can never,
on that one. That was a boring movie.
We can never watch Jackie Brown again.
That's a tough one.
That is a very tough one. We can never
that's
watch
fine.
Good Will Hunting again.
I'm okay with that.
How do you like them apples?
Hey, I like
we
that.
can never watch Copland again.
Never saw it in the first place.
What? That's
That
a
is-
great movie.
I'm sure it is, but now
I'm
I'll
going to
never
watch
know.
it tonight. And then I'm going to ban Harvey Weinstein.
Let me just get one more in. Let me just get one more.
You can never watch Air Bud again.
What about the sequels?
None of them.
Because Golden
can-
Retriever was really when it took off.
Golden Receiver.
Golden Receiver, yeah.
Receiver, yeah.
You can never watch Phantoms again with Ben Affleck.
Ben, you were the bomb in Phantoms, yo. Which I can never watch that again because I'm pretty sure that's from
Jay and Silent Bob.
Strike Back, yeah.
You can never watch Rounders. What a great movie. You can never watch The Faculty. Underrated film. You can never watch...
I think I'm going to be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all before the year 2000. You can never watch Grindhouse or Planet Terror or The Fighter or The King's Speech. You can't watch Piranha.
No, I can't watch
The King's Speech. You can never watch Piranha 3D where they chew off Jerry O'Connell's dong.
I'll be all right.
Can't watch Sin City.
I had my fill.
All right. You can never watch. You can't watch Amityville: The Awakening. All right. Listen. Enough of that. I got to take a break. I'll have the tickets for you after the break if you want to get to the IX Piston Power Show. What's the motto of the IX Piston Power Show?
If it has if it's metal, it's here.
If a
If it
piston
goes,
makes
it's
it
in the
go, it's in this show. If it has metal, it's here. I will have tickets for you after the break.